Today I'm pitting the very affordable K&F Black Mist filter against the standard Tiffen Black Pro Mist filter. Let's see how they stack up. I've been wanting to get a 4x5 mist filter for a while, that way I can use it with all of our cinema lenses, etc. But boy howdy, those Tiffen filters are pricey. And I've seen a lot of cheaper filters come out from newer K&F, etc. And I've been curious for a while, how well do they compare? So I finally bought one of the K&F filters and put it to the test. So we got two filters here we are testing. Let's jump into the test. There's no filter. This is going to be filter A. So at the end I'll reveal which is which. Filter A and filter B. Now what you'll notice is filter B has more of a kind of haze, more of a mist than filter A. So filter B is stronger than filter A. As I went through this, I expected them to be more similar, and what I found is that filter A is just not as strong as filter B. But what you'll notice is there's a similar amount of blooming. The main difference is that filter B brightens up the blacks more. So the other difference that you will notice is that filter A is softer than filter B. So filter B adds more softness to the image. So I kind of think of it as filter B is stronger than filter A. These are both 1/8 strength black mist filters, but what I feel like is that filter B is simply stronger than filter A. So filter A is a little more subtle. You see more sharpness coming through on filter A than you do on filter B. You see little more, halation on filter B than you do on filter A. Definitely more softness, definitely a little more skin softening, but filter A also looks good, and filter A does deliver halation. It does deliver that glow, the bloom that we like in the highlights. Filter B also delivers all of that, just to a greater strength. So to me, as I'm comparing them, I think they both look good. I don't think they cut together. I don't think you can use both next to each other, in a multicam, kind of thing, and they match. Like, they don't match. The black levels are most definitely different, but they both look good. They both provide a mist effect. I think filter B definitely lifts the blacks more than filter A, as you see back and forth, but I think that overall the effect is very similar, with the exception that filter A does not soften skin as much. So if you're looking at details, filter B is softer on details than filter A, and just the overall softening and blooming I think is a little stronger on filter B. Filter A also has a great look. They both are good. It's just bottom line, they're both good. They're different. As you're looking at filter A, there is more sharpness. There's more. It's more clarity, right? It's just a less strong effect. So I think if we had filter A with a higher strength, it would match better with filter B. I only have 1/8 strengths for both of these, so I can't tell. This test, we get the sun directly on the lens, and you can see immediately that filter B really raises the blacks much more than filter A. But again, they both add some glow. They both have that halation, that softness. So it's like they're both doing the mist job that we want when we look at stuff like this. They're both delivering. I am actually not sure if I like how much filter B raises the blacks, to be honest. I like the halation and the glow that I get off filter A, but Filter B raises the blacks, I think, more than I would like. And it's not like it's preserving dynamic range. It's not like it's helping the image. It's just more, I have to pull the blacks down in post. And so I'm kind of favoring filter A. It gives me the effect that I want without raising the blacks as much as filter B does. Filter B is like, now I have to color and drop those blacks back down. Because I could raise the blacks on a filter A shot and it look pretty similar to the filter B shot. We'll look at some of that at the end here. But what I think the thing that you're not going to be able to replicate in camera is the softening. Replicate in post-production. So filter B softens the image more than filter A. And I think that softening from filter B is not something you're going to be able to fake in post in the way that you can change the black levels. All right, so just jumping in real quick to look at this shot. And this shot does have some pollution. This has lens flare in it, but this is the shot we're looking at just to compare how these filters handle this light a little bit differently. So this is no filter. This would be filter A. And then filter B, you can see what's happening in the waveform. You can see the highlights stay relatively where they are. This red patch in the 60-70 range for my face comes a little bit lower here and about the same here. What really changes is the blacks. They come up around 20. Here they're around 10 to 15, and here they're around 5. So this being shot A. Now if we want to start matching these, this is what's interesting. So I just did a quick using curves just to kind of try to match these to get the waveforms to kind of match a little bit. So if I match to shot 0, which would be kind of like more of a final grade that does not have the mist on it, you can see that you can get both of these to match pretty well. Now this one has a red tinge on it. This is filter B. Filter B has this red tinge, and I believe that is mostly from the sun flare. So I'm not too worried about the color pollution on that. I'm just comparing contrast. So I could almost put it in black and white, for that sake, as far as what we're doing. So you can see what we have to do in the color curves, because you can see on the histogram, this distribution gets smaller and smaller, and it's not this that's moving, it's the blacks that are moving. So that's what's happening here as we go to compare these with each other. Now if we go and take all of them to match filter A. So this is filter A. Now if we want our main shot to match, there we go, select that. So basically we just bump up the low end and we get a decent match. Not perfect, but decent. And then if we want filter A to match filter B, we are basically bringing down the low end so that filter A and filter B are pretty matched in terms of the black levels and stuff. That's the basic difference here. Now if we want everything to match filter B, so nothing applied to filter B, we can take filter B, we can take filter A, and obviously the warmth is different because of that sun flare, but generally speaking you can get in the same ballpark. Exposure wise it's not perfect, but you can get a similar lift, and it's it's all there. You can even do that to the shot with no filter and get that to sort of cut in. Again, not perfect, and I just did this really quick, so I could spend more time and get this closer if I really needed to, use this in a grade, but you can see that you can pretty quickly get in the ballpark. But by looking at these curves, you can see how much difference there is between these different filters and what they do. So if I'm trying to match, filter A with 0, look at that curve. If I'm trying to match it with filter B, not so much of a curve, and then obviously with itself it's fine. If I'm on filter A and want to match that with filter B, I've got to drop, through here and bump things up in here. Nothing when it matches itself, and then when I go to match the neutral, it's really just kind of dropping out kind of the lows there. And then as far as, the shot with no filter, if I were to match filter A, I just kind of raise this a little bit. It's not drastic. When I go to match filter B, you can see it's a much more drastic raise in the blacks that I got to do while keeping the midtones and highlights controlled. So it just really confirms what we saw in the test, which is, if I just bring all these back to how they were straight at the camera, no filter, filter A, filter B. Filter A does raise the blacks. It does do the job of the mist filter, along with everything else the mist filter does. Filter B raises the blacks way more. So, drum roll please, the big reveal. Which filter do you think was A and B? The answer is the Tiffen is filter B, and the K&F is filter A. So I was really impressed with the performance of the K&F filter, especially for the price, and I will be using it moving forward. I like the look that it gives, and the Tiffen gives a great look too. But I don't like how much the Tiffen raises the blacks, and it just makes for extra color grading in post that was just a little more than I like. So I like what I get out of the K&F. I like that it doesn't alter my contrast curve massively, but it gives me the bloom and the halation and the things that I like about that Black Pro Mist. So I'm going to be using both filters moving forward, but definitely will be using that K&F. If you enjoyed this video and the way I broke it down, let me know in the comments, and if you disagree, let me know that in the comments too. I'd love to hear people who think I'm wrong, because we're all entitled to our opinion about these sorts of artistic and creative choices. I like the K&F. Do you like the K&F, or do you hate the K&F? Let me know. Until next time, I'm Josh from Story King Studios.